Okay, excellent. Good.
Okay, we're all good to go. All right, so it is 3:31 p.m. on the 30th of April 2025. I'm calling this meeting of the Maple Broadband Executive Committee to order. Hope that everyone's enjoying this beautiful, beautiful warm weather that we're having now. So the first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. So I distributed the agenda and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to
So
approve.
moved.
Okay, well, I'll give you credit for the second. Would anyone like to make any edits to the agenda? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda as distributed, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have an agenda. Next up was approval of the minutes from April 2nd. So those were distributed as well. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Well, I'll move that then.
Okay, can I get a second? Second from Shannon. All right, any comments on the minutes, draft minutes? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as distributed, raise your hand or say aye. Okay, that's all of you. So we approved the minutes. Public comment. Would anyone like to make a comment as a member of the public at this time? Okay. Hearing none, we can move on to chair report. Steve.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I really want to, hold forth here. Are we thinking, Ellie, that we're going to want to do an executive session under item 6, or is that just kind of an optional from your perspective?
Well, so just one thing, as you guys will note, the open meeting law is busy being discussed in the legislature right now. So one of the changes I've made is likely to be part of the revised open meeting law, even though it's not part of the current open meeting law, which is rather than saying executive session to say proposed executive session, because of course you can't have an executive session until you've moved to find that an executive session is necessary. So I made that proactive wording change. But the second answer to the question is we are still in a quiet period around BEAD, and the BEAD quiet period ends when the VCBV has made its BEAD awards. And so because of the quiet period around BEAD, we need to have an executive session to discuss BEAD. And then I've also put in there the contingency planning bits as well, just to give some updates on where we are in terms of planning what our non-BEAD plan would be in the event that we're not successful in BEAD. So yes, I would like to have that executive session.
Okay, well, then, I'll defer my chair report, and we can talk about whatever we want to talk about in the next executive session.
Okay, great. Well, I'll do my executive director report. Some of what would otherwise be in that report is what we'll be talking about in executive session. What I can say in public session is that, as everyone knows, we did submit the BEAD application a couple hours before the deadline on April 16th. And so that was a tremendous amount of work. It was definitely a team effort. We received a lot of help and feedback from WCBT, a lot of deliverables in a really short period of time. And I also have to say we were able to work really well with our partners, in particular JSI, to do the work that they needed to do to put forth the professional engineers certification letter. And I got the bill for that work, and I was absolutely shocked at how low it was. So just very, very happy. Yeah, very happy.
How much?
It was like $1,400 or something like that. So I know. I mean, having seen so many Vantage Point invoices over the years, my jaw had hit the floor in a good way. So I'm like, okay, that's good.
Is that $1,400 related exclusively to the PE documentation, or is that? I know there was a lot of drawing updates and whatnot that needed to be done. Was that inclusive of that?
Seems to have been. They only issued one invoice. I mean, I could stand to be corrected if I kept another invoice, but
yeah.
Either way, yeah. I mean, given the rate card and the hourly rate and the number of hours I expect they spent, it probably feels accurate. Anyways, so that's BEAD. We'll talk more about BEAD in executive session. I mentioned this in the email, but just to make sure we're mentioning it here for the record in public session as well. The 2023 audit, we have completed. Darlene has completed everything that she needs to complete. That ball is in the auditor's court since last week, Friday. I did mail her Monday to ask just for some feedback as to when we might be able to expect her to cycle it, because of course she's busy with other things and it has been delayed for a long time from our side. But I would like to get some expectations about when we're going to be able to get a draft audit so that we can put it through the approval paces here within the district, because that's obviously quite time critical. And then the other thing, of course, is I've already started to move on to doing the 2024 work. So that is one of my, so basically my top 3 priorities right now while we're waiting on BEAD. Number 1 is the contingency planning that we'll talk about in executive session. Number 2 is getting the 23 audit across the finish line and doing 24. And then the third one is working on the marketing plan and the marketing plan execution with London Middlebury. And one thing that's not on the agenda for the marketing plan and budget later is just an update, because in addition to the marketing plan and the campaign execution, we also have contracted with them to redo the website, as you know. So we paid them the deposit on that. I've worked with council to get feedback on the legal agreement in relation to that. And our express goal is to get that up and running by the end of June. So I want to communicate that as well. So that's it for my public session report.
Who did you use for counsel?
I used Eli Emerson for counsel. The reason being that we had we discovered that we had a credit of a couple $1,000s from the CARES time. And yep. So we're gonna continue whenever we need legal work between now and when that goes down to 0. It's free, essentially, because we already paid for it some years back. They wanted to refund it, and I said, no, we can't do that because we've already closed out that grant. That'll be very confusing. Let's just use up the credit, please.
Please continue to copy me on correspondence to lawyers.
Sure. Sorry, if I guess I didn't on this one, Steve, but I will do.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. Any comments or questions on that? Okay, if not, Steve, will you do the honors for executive session? We'll keep this one relatively brief because we do have a lot to be talking about and discussing in public session.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is Jeff. I have dialed in because I was having trouble connecting, so I am on by phone.
Okay, welcome, Jeff. We figured that was you, actually. I recognized the phone, but we didn't greet you.
But it doesn't mean you're not welcome. I move to find that premature general public knowledge regarding Maple Broadband's business strategy could clearly place us at a substantial disadvantage because it risks disclosure of our activities if they were to be communicated to the public. Is there a second? Thank you, Nancy. I move we enter into this executive session to discuss business strategy under Title I, Section 313, subsection A of the Vermont statutes. Is there a second? All in favor? Okay. Excellent. Right. Thanks, everyone.